Hello there. The next general election is theirs to lose, but instead of keeping quiet and letting the other side destroy itself, the Labour plan is to get vocal. Is that a mistake? Now, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe, click the little bell, select all, and then like and comment below. Right now, the Labour Party has a very substantial lead over the Tories in just about every single poll. The writing is on the wall for Rishi Sunak's Tories, and barring direct heavenly intervention, the Tory 80-seat majority will be more than reversed at the next general election. And all the Labour team has to do is watch the Tory government implode and then completely unravel before them. They don't need to do anything other than keep their own ship on a steady keel and course. But we're now being told that Keir Starmer wants his team of shadow ministers to come out fighting and make their case for government, to put the positive case, to tell the electorate why they should vote Labour. So there's talk of a shadow cabinet reshuffle to keep their so-called big guns like Rachel Reeves and clear out the non-entities that no one's heard of or from. There are worries that there are many in the current shadow cabinet that have not been setting the news agenda where their particular briefs are concerned. But one comment I saw did for me sum up the whole problem we have with politics today. One senior Labour source who seems upset with the performance of the Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper said that she still behaves like a select committee chair. It's clear she knows the issues inside out, but politically that's not what matters. So details and facts don't matter. Yet that's exactly what they crucified Boris Johnson for, a lack of attention to detail. They've just been shown an object lesson on building an 80-seat majority on foundations of sand, but they want to emulate it. Just shows, doesn't it? Get the votes and hang the future. When we get into number 10, we can decide how to wing it then, they probably think. Anyway, can you imagine their Labour shadow team coming to the media en masse and suddenly coming under close scrutiny for every word they say, asking them to explain where the money for their socialist plans will be coming from? Are they really going to reform the NHS or just end up throwing hundreds of billions more into that black hole? And what are their plans for the borders, they'll be asked? Where will they put all those new English Channel arrivals? And the trans issue and gender recognition certificates will be another contentious area for them. So forcing yourself into the position of a junior shadow cabinet member being asked to define what a woman is could lose you the whole election. Because one misstep and the whole cabinet will be under the microscope. Can you imagine the answers a TV presenter might get if they asked a junior Labour shadow minister if they would like to see a wealth tax implemented, and where would be the starting point? Or are they hoping that the new proposed taxes on private education will wipe private schools and tutors off the UK map? Then there's private healthcare. What will they say when asked about that? And on that, there will be quite a few Labour bigwigs who would be very unhappy if private education and or private healthcare was meddled with. What would you like to see nationalised would be another good question to ask. I reckon that even knowing how lefty UK the mainstream media is, the whole opposition campaign could be derailed by just a few unscripted answers from the shadow cabinet lower level team. It might also come down to one or two Marxist-driven tweets, and on social media we might well see a Labour hierarchy clamp down on tweeting just to be safe. Especially if, as that Labour source I quoted from earlier, the aim is to put the politics before the detail and reality. That could well shape the film they make about Labour in the future, called The Unelectables. Surely the most prudent measure would be to keep them quiet and gently slide into power. So let's hope they give their gobby left a lot of rope then. Now, I got a message from one viewer, Simon, about my last video on tying MPs' pay and pensions directly to the prosperity of the nation's citizens, to drive policy making towards that agenda and not the virtue signalling tax draining stuff. And Simon pointed out that manifesto promises should be made legally binding, then they'd be more careful about what they promised. Great idea. But would MPs who stand for election on those manifestos vote a law in that put them in a potentially very dodgy position? Simon also said that no foreign aid, except immediate disaster aid, should be paid until the nation is in credit, i.e. it has no national debt. Then, once our $2 trillion plus national debt is paid off, foreign aid can be paid out as a percentage of the national surplus, not just based on our gross national income. That, in my view, is a definite vote winner. But once again, those at the top in government, the Prime Minister and Secretaries of State, love circling the globe, helicoptering UK taxpayer cash about the place to make themselves look good on the international stage, and also line themselves up for those top international jobs where they need foreign political approval. Or maybe an honour or a directorship or two could come of it. So I don't think a government would want to forego that opportunity just because the nation is creaking under a shed-load of debt. No, they'll talk about the opportunities of exercising UK soft power. Although looking about the place, having a bit of extra hard power at our disposal might not come amiss. After all, those squidgy rubber boats seem to be exercising all the soft power at the moment, don't they? Now back to Labour. It seems that Mark Drakeford, the Welsh Labour First Minister, is lining up to resign soon in order to give his party time to select a new leader and have time to build up to the next Senedd elections in 2026. But he also suggested that the Tories are right now wobbling and one more backbench rebellion against Rishi Sunak's plans on any serious matter that is brought on by Tory MPs trying to run the agenda over their own government might be enough to force a general election. Although even considering their shortcomings, are Tory MPs really going to engineer themselves into pushing the envelope far enough to cause their own demise? Would they really challenge their own government to the point it loses them their livelihoods and expense accounts? Really? Actually, yeah, possibly. And however unelectable Labour is, they could easily sweep into power. And finally, when subscribing, please don't forget to press that little bell and also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. And thank you all so much for taking the time to watch the show.